Welcome to our Vault Shorts. These are shorter episodes highlighting programs and resources here in our Billings community.
The following is a Big Sky Economic Development production.
It's Marce B.
And KaVo.
And this is The Vault at 201 North Broadway.
A business podcast.
Where we bring you entrepreneurs, small business owners, and community leaders of Montana.
To share their stories, expertise, industry insights, and strategies.
And we are sharing them all with you every single week.
You don't want to miss this.
Learn how to better start, manage, and grow your business.
And your leadership style.
Tangible takeaways to save you time and improve whatever it is that you're working on.
You're listening to The Vault.
Thank you to the Small Business Development Center for sponsoring The Vault at 201 North Broadway. The Small Business Development Center offers free personalized support from business plans to financial projections and beyond, empowering small businesses to thrive. Reach out to us at bigsky.economicdevelopment.org. When you're first starting a business, it can be overwhelming, kind of like asking a high schooler what they want to be when they grow up. That was one of my most hated questions when I was a kid.
I still feel like that now.
I know,
I
still have no idea what I want to be.
I'm like, I don't know. And especially as high school, you're like, I don't know much yet.
But you haven't lived life, so it's kind of hard.
And you just don't know what you don't know.
You just don't know what you don't know. I like that. So today we're going to be talking about business entities. I think this is a question that most business owners have is, what should I be? I'll start out with my disclaimer. We are not attorneys and we are not accountants. We're not providing any legal or tax advice here, but what we can do is show you the differences between different entities and how they could potentially be beneficial to your company.
And I'm really excited for this episode with Kayla because she walks businesses through this on like a weekly basis. And like, I remember coming to her just when I have random questions on like, what is the difference of like all of these? So I'm really glad we're finally recording this episode.
Yes, me too. I think it'll be really helpful for small business owners. We also go over this in our Startup Roadmap workshop, and we can talk to different clients about it at any different time. Again, our services are always free.
And tell us, so you just mentioned it, but Startup Roadmap is monthly.
Yep, we have Startup Roadmap 10 months of the year. We don't do workshops in July or December. People are busy doing outdoorsy things in July and holiday things in December. But yes, 10 months out of the year, we do a startup roadmap, which just teaches you the basics of starting a business. What are the foundational pieces that you need to know in order to get yourself going? And entity selection is one of those.
So what are like the main entity choices?
So the main entity choices are sole proprietorships, partnerships, corporations, S-corps or S-corporations, and then limited liability companies, or more commonly known as LLCs.
So let's jump in. Let's maybe start with you telling us a little bit more about sole proprietorships.
Yeah. So a sole proprietorship is the simplest entity. The moment you do a transaction. So if I sold you this granola bar, technically I could be in a business situation. So it's typically suitable for a one owner, but you could have multiple owners under a sole proprietorship.
Is there a limit to owners under a sole proprietorship?
Yeah, you wouldn't want more than two. It's more of a one owner situation. And then, if you have a partner, that would fall more under a partnership. But
okay, cool.
It would be suitable for more of a one owner person. The big difference that we like to talk to people about is a sole proprietorship is you have no liability protection. So that means if somebody sues you, they can sue you personally because you yourself are the business.
Yeah.
So they can come for your home, they can come for your savings, your car, all those different things. So if you have a business that may require you to need a little bit more protection, we would definitely recommend a different entity. So pros of a sole proprietorship, it's really easy to establish. You can just go on the Secretary of State site and sign up for an assumed business name. And I think they're $20 or $30 and they last you a couple years.
And this is through your own state. So if someone's listening and they're not in Montana, it's for your state. So if you're in Nebraska,
you would go to Nebraska's Secretary of State website and sign up for your business, assumed business name there. And that's where you would sign up any of your entities, but what you'd be looking for is a doing business as or assumed business name option, and that's how you would sign up your sole proprietorship.
And we do have a separate episode for those listening, and Kayla really walks us through those steps on how to do that. So that she's talking about like Secretary of State and some of those. So we'll link that in the show notes.
Absolutely. And again, the cons of the sole proprietorship is that you have unlimited personal liability. So that is one of the things that I like to really highlight. So if you're a crafter or a photographer and things like that, it makes sense to be a sole proprietor. But if you're doing construction or home improvement things or anything that's going to cause you to have a little bit more liability, I would definitely recommend a different entity selection.
Yeah.
So a partnership would be the next one up. This one requires 2 or more partners. This is, again, you have no liability protection. So you and your partner are on the line for things that happen in your business.
Can you tell us like an example of a type of business that, you see a lot of partnerships, or is it really just, it depends?
It really just depends on what kind of business it's going to be. This could be, a handyman company or something like that, where it's just 2 partners that are just doing their work. I don't have an actual.
It just depends.
Just depends.
Yeah. Okay.
Come to me.
Yeah. Come to Kayla later.
Give you some ideas there. We don't see a ton of partnerships. We see more sole proprietors, limited liabilities, and S corps.
So what else is about, like, tell us a little more about partnerships.
Yeah. So partnerships are pretty easy to establish. They have a flexible management structure. And then again, they just have a pass-through taxation, which I didn't mention with the sole proprietor, but the sole proprietor partnerships and limited liability companies are all taxed the same. So it's just going to be taxed through on your personal tax returns. And you're going to see that in a Schedule C. On those. The cons of a partnership is you, again, have unlimited liability. You have potential disputes among partners. So we've seen this at times where people just set up partnerships. I guess I could say, we've seen it with people that have owned restaurants or bars. And again, I'm not an attorney, but I don't know if I would recommend a partnership structure for a business like that, but where the person one partner just gets tired of it, so they go clear out the bank accounts, and then they go to Aruba, and they live their golden life. And the other partner is on the hook for all of the debt and everything that comes along with that because of the structure of that business. So that's where I have some hesitations on that. Self-employment taxes also apply to partners. So, and that's the same thing with LLCs and sole proprietorships, is you'll have that self-employment tax.
So we've talked about sole proprietorships, partnerships.
Yep.
Moving to corporations.
Sure. Corporations are a little bit hardier. You have double taxation. They're more complex and costly to establish and maintain. You have greater regulations. You have you're subject to corporate tax, income tax, but it provides liability protection for your shareholders. So in some cases, if you're going to take on investment, you become a corporation because then you can have shareholders to take on portions of your business. And so that allows the flexibility in that capital structure and allows you to take on, like I said, investment, which can help your business grow. Yeah. And then you can have an unlimited amount of people, so you can break your company up however you want to do it. So that's why you'll see big corporations like Coca-Cola. You can buy your shares, and they just have a ridiculous amount of shares that you can purchase. Yeah. And that's managed by a board of directors. So S corps are similar. You can have an LLC and have an S corp designation, so you can be taxed as a corporation but still be under an LLC, and then you can just be an S corp as well. This is also managed by a board of directors. It's a very rigid and has a very non-flexible structure, but it does provide those protections to owners, so the liability protections. Income is then reported on personal tax returns. So the pros to this is you have your liability protection. Pass-through taxation avoids your double taxation, and you can pay salaries to your shareholders and employees. Restrictions are on ownership and stock options. The regulatory requirements are more than sole props, partnerships, and then they have the rigid income allocation rule. So then going
last one, right?
to our last one, the LLC, which I would say limited liability company, is the one of the most common ones that we see. Want to provide you that protection as a business owner, so you can go home at night knowing that if someone slips and falls in your butcher shop, that they'll sue your business, but they can't sue you personally. Yeah, so your wife doesn't have to worry that your car or your home is going to be taken. It has a flexible capital structure. You're managed by your members, and you can have an unlimited amount of members or managers to your LLC. Mm-hmm. It's passed through taxation. So just like the partnerships and your sole proprietorships, it's just going to come on a Schedule C on your personal tax returns. Mm-hmm. But you do have the option, again, to be taxed as a corporation, which can help once you hit a certain threshold. Some people think that they have to go right for that, and that's not necessary. Your accountant will tell you when you're ready to switch that or add that designation on to be taxed as a corporation, and there's typically a threshold of money made that would put you in that. They're a little more complex, and they have a little bit more cost to them than sole proprietorships. You want to check with your state laws to see what the different fees are for those. And then again, you have your self-employment tax. It's gonna hit you because it's your business. You just go to your state Secretary of State site, register as a limited liability company. Mm-hmm. But along with that, you do need to set up your articles of organization. And then from there, you would go ahead and move into your EIN number and things. So, like I said, it has a little bit more cost to it because you want an attorney to set up those articles for you. But it is one of the most common entity selections because of that protection for the business owner. Yeah.
And so we went over sole proprietorship. Sorry, that's a tongue twister.
It is.
Partnerships, corporations, S corporations, and limited liability companies. So Kayla, like I said, if you guys are like thinking of starting something, she does this work every day with clients, so you can reach out to her. But really just going over what the differences are in these. And then, like I mentioned, we have a separate episode that really walks you through how to set this up that Kayla really walks us through nicely. So Kayla, what else before we go? What's other helpful information?
So I will always say, choosing the right business entity is definitely dependent on everybody's specific situation. Yeah. If you want simplicity and full control, a sole proprietorship would be great for you. But if you need some liability protection and have multiple owners, an LLC or S corporation would be the best option for you. The larger businesses looking to raise significant capital, so these would be your businesses. Typically, you'll see them in the tech industry or the product industry, consumer product good operations. A C corp might be the way to go. But consulting with attorneys and accountants about these are the most important. Again, we're not attorneys and we're not accountants, so we're just basing this information off of the knowledge that we have. But definitely reach out to attorneys and accountants that can help you. If you are unsure about who is a person you can talk to about that, if you go to rock31.org under resources and then the small business steps to start a small business in Montana, you will be able to find some recommendations for attorneys and accountants. You can always reach out to me, Kayla at bigskyeda.org, and I'd be happy to help you. And if you're listening from a different state, just reach out to your local SBDC, Small Business Development Center, and they'll be able to find you some resources that can help you answer some of those questions. But that's what I would say about entities. Complicated, but not as stressful as it needs to be. And you're going to fall into a box, so don't feel like you're not going to fall into one of these. And then if you sign up for one and you're unsure, if you pick the right one, you can change it down the line. You're not set in stone. It's a little bit more complicated, could cost you some more money, but it's doable. But it's doable. So don't feel like, oh my God, I've just set myself up for the wrong entity. You can definitely make that change.
Yeah. So really great information just on, a little bit about each of these. And then, like Kayla said, just really consulting your attorney and accountant to find what they can really help you figure out what's best for the company that you're looking to start. So Kayla, thanks.
Thanks so much.
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Make sure you are subscribed to The Vault at 201 North Broadway, wherever you podcast, including YouTube.
Connect with us on Facebook at The Vault at 201 North Broadway and Instagram at The Vault_201.
Don't forget to visit us at thevault@201.com and subscribe to our newsletter.
We will see you next time.
Bye.
Thank you to Big Sky Economic Development for supporting The Vault at 201 North Broadway. Big Sky Economic Development provides leadership and resources for business creation, expansion, retention, new business recruitment, community development, and workforce development. Learn more at bigsky.economicdevelopment.org.